each and every one of you to this evening's webinar. Obviously, many of you already know this, that we do this call once a week just to give everybody an opportunity to plug into a live overview that you can count on a pretty consistent basis to give you some insight and be able to get your guest on to find out who Five Links is and what we're all about. And it's important for people to be able to do that at the comfort of their home and to just really get an understanding of how this whole thing works. And so I'm excited to get a chance to come on and share that information. I think it's important anytime somebody listens to anyone when it comes to business that you know a little bit about the person that you're listening to. I mentioned my name is Steve Carter. I'm a double platinum SVP. I've got about 17 years plus experience in the industry, 6.5 of which have been with this particular company. I spent the first 11 years with a different company and came across Five Links and was so thoroughly impressed. My wife and I decided to make a transition over here in 2007. Best move we've made in business thus far. And I can say that from a position of strength, because when I see what we've been able to accomplish in a relatively short period of time, I'm telling you, anybody can do this. And so with that, let me dive into it and let everybody know exactly who we are and what we're all about. Obviously, the name of the company is Five Links, and all we simply are is a direct selling telecom utility provider where we're actually marketing these telecom and utility services to people all over the country. And what's exciting is that it's the model that makes us unique. Is that it's not just the fact that Five Links sells all these essential services that people use every day and pay for every month, which are like home phones, cell phones, satellite TV, home alarm systems, all the things that people have and they use on a daily basis and they pay for on a monthly basis. Those are the services that we sell to people. What's unique, though, is the company will allow you to become an independent rep, just like myself and anybody else who chooses to be a part of this, where we'll teach you how you can go out and get customers for this company. And when you do that, you start to make money the same way the company makes money, as well as the same way any telecom or utility provider makes its money, which is residually. That just means on an unlimited amount of people. And by the way, you don't even have to know these people personally, nor have you ever had to have met them. But when someone is in your customer base and they pay their bill, you're in a position where you can earn a commission on that person's monthly service. Now, what's exciting is that obviously when it comes to these essential services, people pay these bills every 30 days. So what this does, team, it creates a continuous ongoing cash flow. And what I love is that you can't pay those types of bills off. So it's a long-term cash flow. And the most exciting part is the fact that there's no limit to how big of a network or how big of a customer base you can build. So I want you to think about being in a position where you can make money on hundreds of people or thousands of people or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. There's no limit to how many people you can get paid on. So I want to dive into the presentation, give you some background of the company. This first slide, if you're in front of your computer and you're able to follow along with what I'm going to share, this just gives you some bullet points about the corporate team. Background of the company started in 01. So we're in our 13th year of operation right now, which is power, or 12th year of operation. Not only that, the three co-founders collectively have over 60 plus years of experience, and we've had tremendous growth over the last several years. So much so that we actually ended up investing a lot of money into a 50,000 square foot world headquarters. And personally, folks, I think all of this is happening because of that last bullet point, which is representatives come first. Now, the other thing I think is important is for you to do your due diligence. Don't just rely on myself or even the person who invited you onto this webinar. You need to be able to go back and look and see what we're saying, verify everything is above board, and all these different things that I know the average person looking at business should consider. So we've been written up in a lot of these third-party credible publications. We've been featured on different news and media outlet like NBC News, different avenues like that. And I believe what also is very unique is the timing could not be better. Let me tell you why. A couple reasons for that. One is that we know technology continues to evolve, but another reason the timing is great is because right now, when you look at where the economy is, the economy in the United States, it's in the toilet. And so, what happens to an industry like ours is people become more receptive to a plan B. So our recruiting numbers end up going through the roof when people realize they just can't rely on one source of income or one job. People start realizing, you know what, let me put something else in place just in case. And that's really been a benefit to our business and our organization. It's just growing through the roof. Now, I want you to understand when Five Links primarily, when they got into this industry initially, the primary focus was on voice over IP. We ended up getting our own network where, and all voice over IP is, it's a fancy term for digital phone service. So Five Links has its own network, its own company that markets and sells and provides digital phone service. The company's called GLOBALINX, and that's owned by Five Links. And when you look at just some of the bullet points up here, it cuts people's phone service by up to 50%. So it's a great reduction for people that might be using an unlimited plan on their local bill. They're probably paying double what we have to pay. Not only that, many households projected to be using this by 2015. And then we've got video calling. This is just not for residential only, but also for commercial. We've got mobile calling apps. We've got all kinds of stuff revolving around voice over IP. Not to mention, I always like to point out, the richest person in the world owns a VoIP company in Mexico. That's Carlos Slim. And yes, he's richer than Bill Gates, richer than Warren Buffett, all those guys. But I also like to point out that as big as telecom is, what's even more exciting for us is energy. And folks, that just means for the first time for many of us in our lives, you're in a position where you can actually make money when someone is turning on their lights. Someone is cooking on a gas stove. I mean, folks, this has never really been a possibility for the average consumer to then be on the receiving side of the industry. So that's literally where a lot of us are today, where as thousands of people that we don't even know, when they pay their bill, whether it's their light bill, their gas bill, and these are in the states that have deregulated, we're actually making money. And I'm telling you, that's what every single one of you on this line has the ability to do. So this isn't something we're proposing. This isn't something that we're hoping one day might happen. This is taking place as I'm speaking to you right now. We've already got many of us that are making money on thousands of people every single month. So it's exciting for every single one of us, and it can be for you as well. Now, the other thing I want you to understand is that the primary services were GLOBALINX and energy. However, you look on this board now, we've got a host of other services that Five Links has tapped into, which really lets me know and should let you know that we've tapped into every aspect of telecom, every aspect of utility. And so the bottom line is we can actually get paid on a bunch of different services. But not only that, I want to share with you how we actually make our money. There are two things that we do. One is we're getting customers, meaning we're showing people how they can actually save money or at least get competitive pricing on services that they're already using. Now, the other thing we're going to show you how to do is to actually share this business with other people as well. So the two things are we're getting customers, we're getting partners. First goal that we'll teach all of you to do is knock out your first 20 customers. That's not difficult at all. And you might be thinking, well, I know 20 people that would love to save money on a bill they're already paying. Of course, that makes sense. However, what I'm saying is easier than that because you're not having to go get 20 different people on the service. You're talking about signing up 20 different services. So all of these things up on this board count as an additional point. And so when you think about the goal of 20, well, then you know you can knock that out in your first 30 days. And if you do it within your first 30 days, there's a $500 bonus paid to you. Second thing we're going to show you to do, get your first 2 business partners. Do that also within your first 30 days. There's another $250 paid to you. So even if you stop right there and you add this up, team, you've made $750 in your first 30 days. And at this point, it's probably fair for me to say you don't even really fully understand what you're doing just yet. And so that's not a bad thing to make close to $1,000 and you're still learning. However, that's just the bonus. What I want to talk to all of you about is the power of getting paid residually. See, what excites me to this day is the amount of money we've built and the amount of money we earn every month, regardless of what we do. That is more powerful than anything to me. So I want you to think about the concept here. Remember the 2 things that we're doing, which doesn't deviate. None of us deviate from this. We all do the 2 things. We're getting customers or we're getting partners. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about getting partners. Now, you look on this screen, I'm giving you an example that what if you know at least 3 people that want to make some money? Well, guess what? If you know at least 3 people that want to make some money, what if for whatever reason you stopped after that? Well, if they don't stop, your organization can still continue to grow. It'll multiply because if 3 people were to actually go out and get 3 other people, you've got 9 new people in your organization that you don't know, nor did you recruit. Then if they turn around and do the same thing, you've got 27 more. If they duplicate it, you've got 81 more, then 243, then 729, then 2187. This is an example of how if everyone was just getting 3 and this kept going, it would multiply beyond your wildest dream. But now I want you to think about this. Just where we are on this screen, that would be an example of about 9,000 people being in your group. Now, people always question and ask me, is that realistic? Or are you just putting numbers on the board that look good, but people aren't really attaining? Let me tell you right now, I'm not going to discuss numbers that people aren't attaining. I'm not going to discuss numbers that aren't realistic. And personally, I'm not going to talk numbers that I haven't already done. And so I want you to get that. We have done more than 5 times this amount of business partners that you see up on this screen. But that takes time to build. So even before you get to that point in your business, what about what can happen in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Look, what if you built a team of just 20 people? And let's say that happens in the next month or 2. If everyone goes after that goal of getting their 20 customers, do you realize at this point, that's 400 customers? What if you were earning something as small as 50 cents every month on those bills? You realize that even at that point, you're still making a couple $100 a month. Now, that doesn't retire anybody, of course, but if you can make a couple $100 every month based on what you've built in a relatively short period of time, that's not a bad thing. Not to mention, at this point in the game, you would probably say, why should I stop at 20? What if instead of stopping at 20, you build a team of, let's just say, 200, and they get their 20 customers, which is now 4,000 customers. 50 cents a month on that, that's $2,000 a month. Now, I'm telling you right now, anytime you can earn a couple grand every month residually, that is not a bad thing. Now, the other thing, though, is you can start making money as you build this team. And this is pretty immediate. You can make money in the next 10 days of you getting started in the business. So what happens is that as you start to hit these corporately earned positions in our company, there are bonuses paid the following week after someone has gotten started in your team and they've gotten their initial customers. So I want to give an example. Look at those numbers that are sitting on the top of each of these blocks. Well, the numbers seem to get bigger as you move to the right. That just means when you're at these positions that are further to the right, you're making more money for the same thing happening as when you first got started. And those same things are right back to the original statement, which is we do 2 things. We're getting customers and we're getting partners. So the bottom line is this, folks. You're getting partners. Well, every time a new partner comes in, gets his or her customer points, and gets qualified in time, a bonus is released that following week. So you can see it starts to add up. And these are when people are joining your team that you don't recruit. You don't have to know all the people that join your team. You don't have to have ever met them. So as you can see, when you move to the right, it gets to a point where when you get to SVP or platinum SVP, the numbers start to get big. But now look at that first one, senior vice president. When you become an SVP, you get stock options in the company. You get up to $800 a month to go pick any silver BMW that you want. You get GLOBALINX bonuses. You can qualify for the annual vacation. You can qualify for an expense account. I mean, it really starts to get appealing when you become a senior vice president. However, I tell all the leaders on my team, and we've got many senior vice presidents on our team, I tell all of them, look, you celebrate for about 30 seconds after you hit SVP. And then from there, I want you to focus on the next position, which is called Platinum SVP. Now, at this position, in my opinion, the game completely changes. The first thing is you want to make sure that when you hit Platinum, the first thing the company does, they give you up to $4,000 a month towards a Bentley. Matter of fact, the $4,000 doesn't even go to you. It goes right to the car lease allowance, and it pays for the car. So I tell people all the time, it's one thing to have and drive a Bentley, but it's another when you've never seen the car note. Now, I've had mine for over 5 years now. And the beautiful thing is it's been completely paid off. I got a phone call maybe about a year or so ago from the CFO of 5LINX that simply told me that, hey, this car is paid in full. Where do you want me to send the title? So you have to realize that this isn't just something they're going to let you try out for size. This becomes your car. Not only that, but there's a platinum revenue pool that you can qualify for. You get 5,000 shares of 5,000 additional shares of stock options. You get the big Super Bowl looking ring. You get a pendant if you don't want the ring. The ladies can get a pendant to put on a nice pretty necklace. And also you get the personalized embroidered suit, which is kind of like the master's golf jacket, except ours is blue. And so it's really, really nice. And the bottom line is, guys, this is something that you earn. And a lot of people have done that. You have to realize, I think we're up over 20 plus people that have hit platinum. And I love that because that's proof positive that this can be done. Now, the other thing I want you to understand is, how do you get started in this thing? Well, there are two positions to start. I want to primarily talk about the independent marketing representative position. Now, you can see on the board, there's a one-time startup fee of $249. Now, what I love about that is that, look, that's a minimal amount to start a business. However, I always tell people when I'm presenting this business, I always want to put everything up on the table up front. And guess what? I say, don't even think about 249. The number that I want you to get accustomed to and for you to think about what it takes for you to get started effectively is $400. Now, let me tell you why. 249 will, in fact, get you in the system. You will have an ID. You will be a legitimate 5LINX representative. That is all true. However, I want you to be in a position to start making money. And the only way you can start making money in our company is for you to have your minimum amount of customers. And we all know you need at least 4 customer points for you to be qualified in order to get paid. So I always encourage people, rather than going to get someone else as a customer, your first customers should be yourself. So knock out those first 4 customer points on your own. That's going to cost about $150, but at least now you know how to sign these customers up. You know how the service works. And you're now in a position to start making money as soon as you start building your team and building your customer base. So that's 400, in my opinion, is the number to think about to get started with. So once you do that, look, I always let people know it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 to become profitable, even when 400 is what you put up. I'll give an example. Number one, first thing we want to teach you to do is knock out your first 20 customers. We've been saying that throughout the entire presentation. And when you get your first 20 customer points and you do that within your first 30 days, there's a $500 bonus paid. So now, also, and remember, all of these different services count as separate customers. The second thing we're going to teach you to do is knock out your 2 business partners. Find a couple people that want to make some money. And you get those 2 people involved, do it within your first 30 days. Guess what? another 250 is paid to you. So when you think about that, you've made 500 for the customers, you've made another 250 for the two partners. You add that up together, you've made $750 in your first 30 days. Now, even if you get started the way I say is most effective, meaning you pay 249 plus you pay your 150 for your services, well, that's $400. You see here, you've almost doubled the money that it took to get started, and you do that within your first 30 days. I think the thing I want you to understand is that in traditional business, most people won't see a profit for 3 to 5 years. So for you to be able to get your money back and almost double it within your first month, to me, it's a no-brainer. Not only that, but I want you to be in the loop with everything that's going on with the company. So I encourage all of you, text the word promos to 55469. Now that will keep you abreast of what 5LINX runs as a promotion. So sometimes that $750 that you can earn up front, sometimes that can end up being $2,000. That could end up being a whole lot more than $750. So you want to stay current so that when you get started, you might be able to earn more money up front. And even when you've gotten started, you at least now know when other people are getting started on your team, you're able to disseminate this information to them, giving them current promotion status. Now, here's the thing. You're going to learn all of this stuff. We've got the training and the support. Everything is in place. 5LINX University. You got website, business reporting, your back office. All of that's in place. But you've got to first make a decision whether or not this looks like something that you want to do. Now, I tell people all the time, listen, I've done this for 17 years. I know that when we get to this point of the presentation, there are three types of people that look at it. Number one person says, you know what, we could have stopped 20 minutes ago. I'm in, this makes sense, let's roll. Second person says, you know, I've got some questions. I encourage you, get all of your questions answered, folks. Don't sit around and get your questions answered from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Get all your questions answered. We want you to be comfortable not only with what we do, but more importantly, who you are getting into business with. And then that third person, believe it or not, folks, yep, there are people that look at this and say, this isn't for me. Now, they get surprised with my response because my response has always been, God bless you. Look, my thing is never to twist somebody's arm. What sense does it make to try to drag someone across $1 million finish line? That just doesn't make sense to me. So if it makes sense to you that what we've shared, welcome to the team. If not, this is not going to be the pressure close and where you're getting all, backed into a corner. You make whatever decision that you believe is the right decision for you. Now, I've only seen a few reasons why somebody would not get in. Number one, they didn't understand it. Number two, they don't believe what we're saying. 3, they don't feel like they have the time to put in. Or 4, they don't have any money. Now, I'm telling you, in 17 years of me being in this industry, I can't recollect a reason outside of one of those 4. They either didn't get it, they don't believe it, they don't have the time, or they don't have any money. That's about it. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, even those are not real reasons because one, if they didn't understand it, I always say, look, if you just got the concept, that's enough because I didn't understand everything my first day, but I did understand, wait a minute, you're telling me I can make money lead people that I don't even have to know, pay a bill, and these are just because they're in my network that you're going to show me how to build, and I'm getting paid on customers I've never met all over the country, and it's every 30 days they pay a bill that they can't ever pay off, and it's an ongoing bill. Come on, I'm in. Second person, oh, I don't believe that, Steve. All I can say to that is do your due diligence. Get online, do whatever you got to do. Now, I always say get online because you can access information quickly. However, I always caution you that anybody can post anything online. So you want to go to legitimate sources like the Better Business Bureau and 5links.com and, check out the legitimate sites that talk about this opportunity that has a company at almost over $100+ million in revenue. Not only that, then you got the third person, oh, I don't have time. I've always respectfully corrected that thought because when people say they don't have time, that's just simply not true. It's what they do with the time that they have. We all have time, 24 hours a day to be exact. It's what we do with that time. So if somebody's extremely busy, it doesn't mean they didn't have it. It's just what they're choosing to do during those 24 hours per day. And most people are busy because they're doing so much and it's not making the ends meet. I'm just saying that, look, I walked away from my job in 1998. Now, will that happen to everybody? No. Can it happen to everybody? Oh, absolutely. I just made a decision that it was going to happen and that I was going to become successful. I didn't care what anybody else thought. I didn't care what anybody else said. My goal was to get this done. Then you've got the most prevalent reason of all. People don't have any money. Now, if that's not a clear sign that this is something people need to do, I don't know what is. I always have respectfully said, don't ever let the very reason to do it become your excuse not to. So not having money is not a reason to walk away. It's a reason to get in. I know that if I was in that situation today, as I was 17 years ago, my first question is, how long have I had that problem? What am I going to do to fix it? And I always say, Firelinks isn't the only deal out here. But if it's not this one, then what am I going to do? If it's not right now, then when am I going to do it? And if it's not me that's going to make the decision to change my life, well, who is? So all I'm telling you is that's for you to decide. And we welcome each and every one of you that decide to become a part of this. And those that don't, we love you the same.